Stranded once again.
When I do go shopping, I'll have to leave the car running.
What a trip.
Life is a
So back to the dealership.
No telling where it goes. Driving through days.
I wish that I was prepared financially before this week happened. What does this say? This is the first time me reading this actually.
Hello everybody. Akela would like to say hi as well. So after the last vlog, I did mention that I would give you guys an update on the van. So the update is that I'm stranded once again. If you guys haven't been following along, my car won't start. I just pulled into this little grocery store. The van was working totally fine. Now it will not start. Battery alternator's fine. All grounds are fine. The starter was replaced, and the only thing that got it going was like a test to the starter. But now it's doing the same thing. I've called 4 dealerships, and all of them are out for like 1 to 3 weeks. Finally found one that's willing to get me in on Tuesday, which is like 3 days from now. Or I don't even know what date it is today. 4 days from now. What I'm trying to avoid is paying for a hotel room for 4 days when I don't even need to. So I'm very low on food. So I'm gonna eat an English muffin with peanut butter. I'm almost out of peanut butter. Good morning. Oh. All right, Riley's coming over here in like 20 minutes. Riley is the guy that worked on my car in the last vlog.
Why?
So if Riley can touch that starter, get this going, I'll just whoop, zip down there. You hear that? Riley got him going. So Togo is running, which means that I'm not gonna stay the weekend here. I'm going to head down to Twin Falls and just figure it out when I get there, kind of where to stay, what to do, what makes sense financially. But I'm in the middle of making coffee, so I'm gonna do that first. The only thing that I need to do is buy groceries and get Akela some more food, because she's running pretty low. We're both running low. There's a grocery store an hour south of here, and I think I'm gonna wait and go shopping there. When I do go shopping, I'll have to leave the car running. But that grocery store that's an hour south has the best cookies.
Meet me with a middle scroll by the water hole. Lucid dreams of you and me.
We've got groceries. Everything is good to go, so now we're really on the road. On our way to the shop. Hi. Oh, what a stretch. All right, I am here at the place. I thought maybe I could live in this parking lot for the next 2 days, but it is pretty darn crowded. What a trip. We're free contract. Hey there, I am just calling to see if dogs are allowed at the hotel. Oh, bummer. Okay. All right, thank you very much. All right, bye. Best Western it is. This place is $170 a night. I am not doing that. She said I should just go check out the budget motel. So that is where I am heading. I'm not spending $170 a night. No way, Akela. Budget motel. This way. Hello! Did you steal my seat? Alright, budget motel it is. It's only $70 a night. And they're only charging me for 1 night of pet fee, which is an extra $15. I was just curious if it is allowed to have a little, if I bring my little stove in there to be able to like cook dinner and stuff. Is that okay? Perfect. Okay, thank you so much, because I have all this food that I need to eat, so that's perfect. She goes, yeah, as long as you don't start anything on fire, I don't care. Sweet. Well, at least we're gonna be eating good, Akela.
think I grabbed everything I needed. Basically just moved into that little hotel room. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Now I go drop off Togo. So back to the dealership. Alright. You approve? Okay.
Call it a day.
I don't really know where to start. Well, I'm obviously back home. I am home. We are home. Obviously, I very quickly stopped filming. So I ended up spending 8 days in that motel. I was planning on maybe like 2, maybe 3 tops. Yeah, here's just a hard reality of van life. Sometimes things don't go as planned and it kind of sucks. So how I want to end this video is just talking through the things that I went through and what I would do different and how much this whole fiasco cost me. Because that's something that I really value to share because I think it matters. Because I wish that I was prepared financially before this week happened. The first mistake that I made was showing up to the dealership early. They had said, hey, if you come down early, we're going to try to fit you in tomorrow. That didn't happen, and I'm never going to do that again. I don't know if it was just this dealership specifically, but a lot of empty promises that I was told throughout the 8 days of me hanging out down there. And in the past, when Togo has needed maintenance, I either just stay in the parking lot or near the shop, and then Akela and I will just hang out in the shop or go work elsewhere and then come back and grab it or come back and sleep in it. Might sound weird, but we'll just like sleep in it in the shop or in the shop parking lot. And I feel safe doing that, so that's why I do that. If you don't feel safe doing it, then don't do that. But this specific dealership was like middle of the city, super crowded. It's hot down there, and I didn't feel comfortable making Akela stay in the van with me. She would have been really hot, really uncomfortable. Because I have Akela, everything is just automatically a little bit messier. We've experienced this before traveling, so it was nothing new. Transportation is really hard with a dog, and obviously like figuring out where to stay is also hard with a dog. Luckily, there was a budget motel that allowed dogs just a mile away from the dealership. Basically, throughout the week, the dealership really lacked communication with me. I needed to initiate calling them multiple times and asking for updates, and I needed to make it very clear multiple times that I live out of my vehicle and I need it back ASAP. Not that that made much of a difference, but I tried my best. So a ton of you guys in the last vlog had told me to do a bunch of different troubleshooting with the van, and you had your own speculations of what the issue was, and this was the issue. The transmission range switch. I actually never needed my starter replaced. Wasted $300 doing that. So the mechanic that was working with Togo noticed that there were tracks in there and things were over tightened, and he had to spend a lot of time to document all of that. Then he found that there was essentially a gasket that was over tightened that had ended up tearing because it was over tightened. So then that gasket needed to be replaced. About midweek they told me they thought that my transmission needed to be replaced. So if that doesn't give you an anxiety attack, I don't know what does. But a funny thing that happened was that I couldn't find any transportation back to the dealership. So obviously I didn't have a car. The only Uber that worked in that town wasn't picking up his phone. Both taxis were out of town, and because it was Saturday, the dealership didn't have any shuttles running, nobody could leave to move people around. So I walked around my motel asking random people for a ride. So an older woman and her grandson agreed to bring me and all of my stuff to the dealership, then bring me back to the motel, and then Akela and I walked back to the dealership. We then waited at the dealership for 4 or 5 hours until the van was totally done. So here's what all of this cost. You know, in last week's vlog when Riley switched out the starter, that whole thing was about $340, which was not the issue. Spending all of those days in the motel was $575, and then all of the work that they did at the dealership was just over $700. What does this say? This is the first time me reading this, actually. There's another thing I wish I would have done differently. I wish I would have read this and asked what the hell this means. I could call. All of this is all like documentation of what he found and noticed and everything, so this is actually really nice to have. So for the last like week and a half, 2 weeks of all of this happening, I spent a total of $1,614.76. Do you know how painful that is to say out loud? The dealership also noticed that my transmission fluid was really bad and sludgy, so they did flush that and replace it, and they did not charge me for that because everything took so long. So it would have been about an extra $200 with that, but they did not charge me for. I am very grateful for that. I'm grateful that my transmission did not need to be replaced, and I'm grateful that the mechanic did some really great work, and my van runs so nice now. This is all part of it. This is all part of the lifestyle. You're learning as you go. Every experience is so unique and individual. Like, what I went through is this lifestyle. It is what it is. Life goes on. Sucks for a little bit. But now we have our home back, and we are in the mountains, and I see nobody around me, and it is awesome. Well, Akela and I are going to go and run around in this forest for a little while. And then we're going to end the night with a fire and some good music, and I am going to pack my pack because we're gonna go on a little solo trip here for the next few days into the mountains to some alpine lakes that I haven't been to yet. And I have a few fun things happening in the next few weeks that I'm really excited to film and share with you guys. Thank you all for watching another video. Thanks again for all the support and the love. And Akela and I will see you next week.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.